Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only me, Danny Pesci. Welcome to the first episode of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be amazing. The broadcast is beautiful. I can't say the same about myself, but we're not here to talk about me. We're not here to discuss if I'm handsome or not. My mother might agree, but you, on the other hand, doesn't matter. We're here to give the Solar Pros group some value. You guys asked, we delivered. I took a poll about a month or two ago to see what this group needed to add some value to it. And we had a bunch of different segments, and one of them was setting. And so the big topic reps wanted to discuss is setting and how setting would be. So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to go live with a professional killer in each subject you guys suggested in the group. So Solar Pros, thank you guys for being so much part of our community. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for showing up. We're really excited to get this done. This is the first season of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. Sonny was the previous manager of this page. We are doing him homage by continuing a broadcast in his name. Thank you for the wonderful community you help curate here in the Solar Pros group. I hope to continue to live on with your legacy, and thank you for bringing us all together as a group. And this broadcast is in honor of all the excellence you've bestowed upon us, and we hope to bring honor to your name and your family. So thank you for giving us this group, and we look forward to providing value here. So this is the first episode of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. We have a few sponsors, DealMachine and Volition. These are two good friends of mine. I've used both products. Volition is a recruiting service. This off season, November to January, you should be looking at building your teams. You want to reach out to them if you are. They're a fantastic recruiting agency. And DealMachine is some of the best homeowner data that you can get on the marketplace, with over a 25% is achieved on average, where you're able to get some really good contact rates with these guys. So we're going to talk more about our sponsors here at the break, but we are going to be bringing on Ashton Buswell. Ashton is a good friend of mine. He's done stuff with me in the past, and he is the founder of the Foundational Selling System, and he is a legendary setter. That is what today's subject is on, is how to set like a legend. Ashton, you have become a legend. You've given so much to this space. You don't just make money, but you give. And that's what it's about. This group is about giving. And you embody that. I've had such a pleasure getting to know you. You are one of the few people that have actually been doing this longer than me. You were in, I think you started in 2006 with the satellite company that everybody came from, right?
Yeah, 2005, Atlas.
2005.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you're still out doing it. You're still out setting. Your Legacy is national trainer. Legacy is one of the largest solar companies in the country. You lead from the front. You've self-genned over 28 deals in one day. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, 22 wasn't self-gen. 16 was self-gen, though. That's still pretty good.
Still insane. 16 self-gen, 22 closed deals in a day. Fantastic. And so, that's the subject of today, is what does it take to be a legendary setter? When you first started in this job back in before Facebook, all of that, did you ever think you would be here 20 years later still talking about door-to-door and doing sales? What ended up happening? Because so many people that go into this industry, they're like, yeah, it's a cool part-time career. It's not a career, it's a part-time job. So here you are 20 years later. What was going on in your mind when you first started this?
When I first started in 2005, I was recruited. I wrestled in high school and college, and I had my old coach from like Utah wrestling said, hey, you should go sell with my son, Brandon. The only guy I lost to my junior year in wrestling in high school. And I said, well, I don't know anything about sales. And he said, no, you just have to work hard. They'll teach you how to sell. I know you work hard. You do great. And so they recruited me that I could make $20,000 in a summer. But if I can make 20 grand, then I can go to school and not have to work, or I can just focus on grades and girls. I would be set. I ended up making double that and never looked back. And actually, that never looked back isn't necessarily true. That's where I started, but I got good at it, and I had people that wanted to learn from me. That first summer, Brandon, the guy that recruited me, phenomenal person, phenomenal sales guy. He sold 150 satellites. I sold 250. So who were all the guys asking like questions to during the summer? They were like, well, what do you
Yeah.
want? Right? They wanted to know the sauce. And so I started having people follow and learn, and I just kept going with it. Not that I didn't have other opportunities. After 6 years, I got out and I did some other things, started some businesses with my brother, was out of it for like 3 years, and then got roped back in, and have been in solar for almost 12 years now. And at one point, I don't remember exactly when it was, I received a blessing at church one time, and the blessing said that I would learn how to do something. And in my mind, I thought that was like a dentist or something, like fix people's teeth, because that's something. And I've learned that that's something with sales, dude. And I love the idea. I love sales. I love persuasion. I love all the ideas of taking somebody that had zero interest before or didn't know that they had a need, showing them the need, and then them being passionate about like that thing that I'm offering and telling all their friends.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's evolved. It wasn't like at the very start of my career, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do sales forever. But now I'm like, I'm going to do sales forever, dude. It's the best. So
Yeah, and what's funny is people that I've seen get out of the industry, they always end up still selling something one way or another. So you never get away with it. You never get away from it because you're always in some aspect, in some form, persuading somebody to get what you want. And I think it was either Chance Allred or Casey Baugh, one of the two. But they were talking about how you're always going to have to be in a position of sales as a father, as a son. Everything you do evolves around sales. And so do you believe getting into sales, realizing that's going to be a career path forever? What do you think that's something that reps should know going into it? Is even if you quit, you're still in sales, so there's no point in quitting. What would be something that you would give to some mindset advice as a new guy comes in as a setter? What are some things they could take away, tangible advice that would help them be a really good setter getting into this?
well, I don't know that it's necessarily that they should get out, because they'll always be selling. What I do know for sure, anybody that's getting into it right now, your first year or 2 years or 3 years worth of selling will actually teach you more about life and business than getting a degree from college. And I'm not knocking college. I graduated from BYU when I graduated, the undergraduate program for the business program was ranked number one in the country. And I felt like I learned more in a 4-month summer of knocking doors about life and business than I did from my degree. And that's not a knock on my degree. That's just a testament of door-to-door selling or just sales in general. And so are you going to be doing solar cells for the rest of your life? Maybe, maybe not. I'm planning on it. But will you be selling the rest of your life? 100%. You're selling to your kids. You're selling to your girlfriend. You're selling to anyone and everyone every single day. It's sell or be sold. You're going to a restaurant and they're telling you that that thing's worth $20. Whether you agree, and that's a sell. You're going to be like, all right, that's worth $20. I'll pay for it. Or you're going to be like, that's too much. I'm going to go somewhere else. And you know what I mean? You're always selling. So the education that you get from selling, I started this foundational selling system because, and some of it, Danny, you're going to laugh at this. Some of it is I want a guy that's not in sales, but having a hard time getting a date to enroll in my course for $47 and learn how to have confidence in selling a girl on the idea that she should date him. You know what I mean? Like that is a pure sell. And whether you look at it as sales or not, like that's selling. You got to figure out how to have confidence and that what you have is better than what they have, and learn some posturing and some tone of voice, and you know what I mean? Like all those things.
Yeah.
So a brand new person, will you stay in solar cells forever? I don't know. Will you be selling the rest of your life? Yes. You might as well
Mm,
get really good at it. Let me give you
yeah.
another little side tangent. So I actually got admitted to the hospital when I was 34. I was way too young to be admitted to the hospital. It was for my heart. And my doctor said, you got to find something that's not church. I was a bishop at the time. not church, not work. I was the top sales guy and a national sales trainer, not family, just something that you can take your brain off of. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to play ping pong the rest of my life. I might as well get good at playing ping pong, right?
Yeah.
Wherever I'm going, if somebody's got a ping pong table, I might as well get good at it. And so same kind of idea. And I got good at ping pong. Now, if you want to throw down a ping pong, I'm down. Anybody listening, if you want to go find a ping pong table. But that same idea of like, I might as well get good at this thing that I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. I'm going to be selling the rest of my life. If I can get really good at solar sales and setting leads, then I'm going to get really good at closing deals too. And then I'm going to get good at persuading people. You know what I mean? It all comes together. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, Danny, but
well, no, it's needed because a lot of guys need to see the big picture here. Like when I first started, I did this job because I needed money to survive as a performing artist in Hollywood. And so I never initially thought I would be doing this forever. But as I slowly started doing it more and more, I saw how many parallels are in life with this job. And so that's really what it got stuck out to me and why I've been doing it since I got out of high school. Like I absolutely love it. So what's some advice that you would give some new people coming in? Some good key pointers to remember as they're starting to struggle. It's their first year out. They're going ready for summer or they're about to go knock. What's some things they need to know before they get out there on the doors?
Man, I have some core beliefs that I just preach and teach all the time. So I'll go through those, but one of the ones that helped me when I was brand new in solar, I got down to a couple $100 in my bank account, and I had a wife and a couple of kids, a house, cars, and I'm at a couple $100 in my bank account. And I remember being at my old house on the ground on this big white rug we had, and thinking, I got to either find something new, or I got to make this crap happen. And what I held on to was there's other people that have been crazy successful here. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that belief of like other people have crushed it. And I know they're crushing it right now. And they're not any more talented than me. And actually, a lot of them are more talented than me. But there's a bunch of people that aren't more talented than me that I can outwork. And I got a little more talent that I can make this thing happen. So having that belief, like, listen, everybody listening, if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, if you're in it a year and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do this forever. If you're making enough money right now, guess what? It only gets better. As long as you get better, and you should be trying to get better, it only gets better. So if you're doing well enough right now, keep going. Don't stop. Yeah. There's other people that have done it. There's people that have done 100 installs a year, every single year, year after year after year. There's guys that make $1 million in 9 months. There's guys that have done it. So cling on to that. Know that it's real. If they can do it, you can do it.
Dude, 100%. And that was one thing too. I remember learning at Platinum Protection is I remember asking one of the owners, it was Chance or Hallows, one of the two. And I said, dude, does this job ever get easier? And he sat back, smiled, and said, you know what? The job never gets easier. You get better. And it's like you're able to go further and farther with more arrows in your back because you've developed a skill set. So that's why it's so important to train, get better, and learn new things. And that's obviously why you've built your foundational selling system so you can give this impact to people. That's why I do my training. That's why this group exists, is to help people, because we're all on the same mission. We're all here to get better. We're all here to make a better life for, ourselves, our families, and give back to the community. And so, you've obviously done a very good job with that. And, the big thing that, what's going to separate you apart is being a legend. Now let's talk about that for a second. Like, Ashton, what do you think has led you to be a legend in the industry, led you to be a legendary salesman, legendary setter? What do you think, what characteristics, what are some things that just make you different that really allowed you to become a legend and make great money because of it? Like, if you had to mark a couple things down, what do you think that is?
If you look at legends, and I appreciate you calling me that. I don't know that I'm a legend. I'll take it though. I'll take it and wear it as a badge of honor. But if you look at legends, none of the legends that you're thinking about, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter, they did not have just incredible careers for 3 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The legends that you think about, part of being a legend is being in it long enough to be considered a legend. I passed 1,000 personal installs. I've stopped selling, like personal selling. Became a VP for our company over 5 years ago. I stopped like having that be my main thing for quite some time. But I still get referrals and I still go out and get deals, and I passed 1,000 personal installs. I don't know 10 people that have 1,000 personal installs.
Yeah.
Some of that is just that I've been in the game for 12 years. And like LeBron's 40 years old, 41 years old, the dude's a legend. He's been in the game for a really long time. So you don't get to legendary status by coming in being a one-hit wonder, two-hit wonder, three-hit wonder,
Yeah.
right? You become somebody that people would want to be like, or a legend in some regard, if you've been in it for long enough.
Yeah.
There's also people that have been in a really long time. There's guys that were in the major leagues or the NBA for 20 years that you don't know their name,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's one part of the puzzle, is you've got to be in it long enough to
Either
be
long enough. Yeah.
considered that, right? And then you have to perform consistently over time. That's how legends are created. Patrick Mahomes is a legend. The dude performs when he needs to perform. Tom Brady, legend. Dude performs when he needs to perform. And
Yeah.
it's not little performance, it's big performance, right? And some of that, I think one of the things that kind of put me on the map, Danny, in 2017, is it 2017, 2018? Can't remember what year it was. Legacy had a sales incentive for a Tesla,
Mm.
and everybody went all out. And it was as Legacy was kind of starting to grow, and they were getting some good marketing around it. It was
Yeah.
actually a partnership with Sunrun and Legacy, and we didn't hit the metrics, so Sunrun didn't contribute anything. And nothing against them, no bad blood there. We didn't do what we had said we were going to do to get these different metrics, but
Yeah.
Legacy had said we were giving away a Tesla. So Legacy stepped
Mm.
up and gave away a Tesla, and I won a Tesla. And it got touted, and people were like, "Holy cow! There's this guy won a Tesla." But I remember, Danny, that experience. Like Jeff Mendes had me on a podcast a week ago, and he asked me if there was one big, huge highlight that stands out above the rest, and I right away went to the Tesla.
Mm.
And it wasn't necessarily that it was a Tesla, but it was because I knew that everyone was going to give it their all.
Yeah.
If I won that, then
That's
I was the champ.
you.
I was the best sales guy, right? I was the best. I won
Mm.
that, and I won that by 4 sales, and that kind of put me on the map. And then I decided I had to continue to perform, right? If I did
Yeah.
that once and it was a one-hit wonder, and then I kind of fizzled off, then again, you wouldn't know my name, right? So consistent effort, doing it for a really long time, win a Tesla.
Yeah. Winning competitions. I actually talk
Winning
about that.
competitions, yeah, yeah.
And maybe you could shed some light. And it's competitions which are managers and leaders listen to this, is how important it is for you to put competitions out there and back it up. Funny story, Ashton, is you won a Tesla in 2018. Doug, my region Legacy, before it was a solar company, had a watch given out, and that was a John Frampton incentive. And John Frampton left to start up Solar City, and it all rolled under Doug. And I'm like, Doug, I was the top rep this year. Like, where's my watch? He looked at me and he was like, damn. All right. We went in the car, went to a watch store, and he dropped 10 grand on me for a watch that I still wear all the time till today.
That's
And it just shows that's what a leader does, is if other people, if you say something and that's out there and the other people don't contribute, you still write the check. And that's crazy. I mean, you saying that Sunrun didn't put the money in, I knew Doug was going to follow through. Yeah. And that's why it's like so cool to just continue to hear, people that do those type of things, like a guy like Doug, just an industry icon, and has built such a beautiful foundation and loved it. And, you're a spitting image of that, as you guys from that company, so many good quality people has done it, and competitions push people. So if you're watching this right now, competitions, if you're a leader and you're not putting those out there, you're missing out on a huge ROI and getting your guys to step into legendary statuses. Now, we know every year you go for as many self-gens as you can. I think it was 28 in the month. Is that the goal on February, right?
Yeah, February, man. Having been in the sales cycle for 20 years,
Yeah.
what I've seen is lots of sales guys take off December or most of it.
Yeah.
And then January, there's lots of conferences and it's kind of getting everybody going again. And people don't really get started sometime. And then there's daylight savings. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have found that if you can have a massive February, so every year I do a free, it doesn't cost anything. If you want to be a part of a group, 28 plus challenge, try to get 28 deals in 28 days. That's the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of turned it also just like a PR challenge, like get out in February with a group of people and go do your best month ever.
Yeah.
And set up the rest of your year because you crushed it in February. You proved to yourself and to a whole bunch of other people that you can do hard things when it's cold, when it's dark, when it's raining, when it's snowing, you're still out hustling. Anyway, so I do that once a year. And I love it. I love seeing people step up to that when there's no like big prize. You talk about prize or competition. That one is just pure like I'm going to prove to me and other people that I'm legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's cool. It's that movement. You motivate people to go further. So if you're tuning in right now, guys, this is the Big Beautiful Broadcast, Season 1, first episode. We're coming out with a bang. I have brought in one of the best setters, closers, anything solar related. Ashton has done it, and he is here giving you guys free knowledge, providing value to the group. So if you're tuning in right now, we are learning how to be a top-notch setter. If you're watching, throw some comments if you want to ask a couple questions to Ashton to see how he would respond to it. But right now, we're here talking about Ashton, how to be a legendary salesman. This is the first episode of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. We have 6 episodes with 6 different subjects bringing you guys value inside the Solar Pros Facebook group. So thank you guys for tuning in. And Ashton, you've been a phenomenal trainer so far. You've absolutely crushed it. You've done great. Over 20 years experience. Ashton is the president of training sales. What's your official title at Legacy?
VP
Sales? One of those titles. You're out there. You've done it. One of the first guys to join with Legacy. Absolutely crushed it. And so that's the thing, guys, is if you're tuning in today, take notes how to be a legendary salesman. Now, Ashton, here's a big one. There's a lot of reps. How do you get reps to buy into competitions? What are some things you've done to really buy into it and go all out to make sure that you get the most out of this competition? What's some tricks and tips that you've done in the past?
So I have equated selling to my new sport. I wrestled in high school and college. I played football growing up, like in high school, soccer, baseball, track. Sports was my thing, was my jam. Still love physical fitness and all that stuff. But I am an old guy. I did get back into some old guy wrestling. I wrestled for the United States of America 2024, which is cool, in Croatia. Made it the bronze medal match. Didn't get the bronze medal, but made it to that match. But I now, like, my sport now is sales. And when there's competitions, that's like going to the state tournament, or that's like going to the national tournament or something. When it's everybody's going to give their best during a sales competition, even if the winner, and a lot of my sales competitions, dude, I'll do one-on-one competitions. Here's a trick for new setters. Go find another setter that you want to beat in your same team. Or if you don't have them on the same team, go find somebody in another company and share numbers. And the winner gets a high five. Or the winner, the loser has to call the winner king for a week, King Buswell, or whatever. It doesn't have to cost any money. I'll do something for like Wendy's, like I don't actually have them very much anymore because I'm doing way less sugar than I used to, but a smoothie or something, a juice. I'll do, whoever wins this week, the other person has to buy them. We get meat at Jamba Juice, right? Something super cheap, costs you a couple bucks, but it's the pride, man. It's the pride of the prize. It doesn't, that's why I'll do stuff for a high five, dude. You won, bam, you're the winner. Dude, that feels so good, right? When I'm winning when I'm a state champion, That feels freaking phenomenal. So when competition, every single week, I'm trying to be better than I was. Every single day, I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. I'm trying to learn more. I'm always pouring into my own education. I'm always trying to make sure that I'm doing the necessary things every day, chop wood, carry water, the basics over and over and over again, that I'm super disciplined on that. But then when somebody says competition, in my mind registers state championship. All right, let's go. I like to win. I'm a winner. That's what I do. That's who I am. And that's the mindset you ought to have, new setter. I'm a winner. That's what I do. That's who I am. And I win what's in front of me. Well, there's a sales competition. Well, who is it, a team or as individual, whatever? How's the other guy? How are they? To win the game, you got to understand the rules of the game. You got to understand your opponent, and you got to understand what you've got to deal with too, right? Hey man, let's go to this area. I know it's a freaking prime time area. I know we can do X, Y, and Z there. We can lock out. Hey, let's go on a blitz where we're away from our normal home, and all we're doing is eat, sleep, and knocking doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. But how I get into competitions is I think of it like a state championship. When they're coming, when there's a team competition or individual competition, dude, I'm a champion. I'm a winner, and I win stuff. And it's a free hat. That's a cool, authentic hat. I won a hat. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Dude, it's a hat. You could buy that hat with like 1,000 times over with all the money you just made. It's not about. It's about being the state champ. It's about being the winner. So just getting your mind into that frame of like, all right, now I've got an opportunity to show everybody what I'm about. And one of the things that slows people down sometimes, Danny, is they're scared to fail. And if you give it your all and you get second or third or fourth, it sucks. So some people won't even get in the game. Dude, get over that mess. If you're in the game, you have a way better chance of winning the game than if you just say, bah, I don't want to do it because I'm not going to win anyway. Right.
Yeah, that's what would you tell those guys that don't participate because they're like, look, if I give my all, I lose. I don't want to do it. Because I found that is actually a huge issue for companies not getting their reps bought into it. What can you do to prevent that as an individual?
You recognize and realize that it's you versus you, and you're trying to do your best all of the time. Part of the 28 plus changing to do your PR is like, dude, just do your best. And that will be sufficient. I had I learned this lesson. It just happened to me / I kind of made it happen. The very first big legacy competition that we had, we won a big trip, and I love going on trips. And I busted my tail. They turned the scoring dark, so you didn't know where the other people were at, and I didn't know where I was at. And on that Saturday, I got my first 5 spot ever. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Five deals in one day. That's so much. That's so good. That's so much money. There's no way that anybody could have beat me. And guess what? I got second. And the guy that I lost to right after it was announced, I called him. And he was used to the dog eat dog world of alarms. And he was thinking that I was going to call him and be like, you cheater. What did you do? I can't, you know what I mean? Like he thought I was going to chew him out. And I called him and I said, hey man, thank you. Thank you for pushing me further than I've done more than I've ever done before. I got 5 on Saturday. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, dude, I got 4 on a day. I thought that was crazy. And I just said, thank you for pushing me to be better. So if you're getting a competition that you think you're going to lose, then change the competition. Now, me versus me, this was my record before, and I'm going to go beat that. If the winning number is 100 and my previous best was 70 and I get 80, I completely won.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't win the competition. I won that battle, right?
Yeah.
And so just change the game if you need to have a little different perspective on it.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's all it is the mindset, and getting around good quality people help with that. And that's why it's so important to tune in podcasts, go get trainings, go to live events, go to door-to-door con, go to solar con, go to these events and just get around that to change your mindset. Buy courses, buy Ashton's program right here. Ashton, we're going to get a link. So anybody watching, if you want to join Ashton's program, you totally should. 20 years of experience, total ROI, anything you spend on yourself is going to get better. And so, speaking of spending on yourself, if you're tuning in right now, this is the big, beautiful broadcast. We're so thankful for you guys tuning in. We want to provide you value. And part of that is providing value through some of our sponsors. So, we're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors right now. One of the biggest sponsors that we have in the game right now is DealMachine. So if you're tuning in and you need homeowner data, DealMachine is the best source for homeowner data. At a contact rate of 25% is on average with their data. It's unheard of, super high quality stuff. If you want to get a taste of homeowner data, we're going to put a link in the comments so that you have a free trial. What I would recommend is if you're door knocking, take some of the money that you got and spend it on getting some leads so that you can have a different sort of deal flow going in. Because as we're going into November, December, January, your production should not go down. You should get creative and find ways to get deals when times are getting tough. So contact DealMachine, find a way to get their data. You can virtually prospect by looking at different neighborhoods and seeing which homes are the best ones, get their data and contact them. Okay? They're super good. It takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes. You basically can take their data, upload it into your dialer, and then start dialing, and it's all filtered so that you don't have to worry about anybody in the do not call list. You can wipe out all the people that are on the list that aren't qualified to speak to. So it's a great way if you're door knocking to start diversifying your portfolio. Okay, if you don't have a dialer set up or you're a straight knocker and you want to figure out how to start selling virtually and getting some leads on the side, contact up DealMachines. They'll show you how to do it. They'll show you how to set everything up, and you can start making deals on the side for the best homeowner data. We'll put a link in the comments. Then the other thing is you get some side deals. Also, you got to start building a downline. Start building a team. And right now, this is the time to do it. It's November, December, January, February. This is prime recruiting season. So if you're just strictly selling, you are not going to last unless you start building out a team of some sort. So if you are looking to start recruiting and build out a team, speak to Volition. They're one of my buddies, Billy. He and I used to be managers together at Vivint. He started up a recruiting agency, and he knows exactly how to do it. So instead of just putting on lines and Indeed, they use social media and your platforms to attract reps and then interview them and get them on your hip as soon as possible so that you can go out and train them how to knock. Okay, so if you are looking to build a team, get a demo, see how they can help you recruit and build your downline. If you guys don't start getting side deals and you don't start building out a downline, this job gets harder and harder. Your goal is to make a bunch of cash, spend it on getting some leads, and then spend it on building a team. That way you can start growing your organization. So now you can have a huge impact. I remember when I was talking to Doug Robinson 10, 12, 13 years ago, it was him and 4 or 5 reps, and now they're one of the largest companies in the country. So you got to recruit. So if you don't have an avenue, if you're trying to recruit on your own, hire the professionals. Billy's been doing it for 15 years. He sold to my office. You'll do a demo call with him. He'll share with you basically how they do it and maybe share a funny story or two about us selling together back in Pittsburgh. It was a fun time. So right there, you need leads, you need homeowner data, contact up DealMachines. If you need to build your team, reach out to Volition. They've got a link in the comments, and we'll show you guys how to build your team. And that's super important so that you can be a legendary setter, a legendary anything. And that's why we brought on Ashton Buswell. He is a legendary setter, closer in the solar space. If you don't know who he is, he's VP, Vice President of Sales Training at Legacy Power, one of the largest solar companies in the country. And he's got it dialed in. He has a great approach. He's lovable. Everybody loves him. I don't know anybody that hates him. So Ashton, congrats on that. You're one of the most loved characters in the game. So what are some things you've done to just stick it out all these years? What are some things like, hey, this next year, it sounds like there's no debate. You're doing it again. What are just some shifts that you've made to really go all in on this game?
Well, so on solar in particular, dude, we're going to need power, man. We would be silly to think that more electric cars, more data centers doesn't equal needing more power. There was an article, I can't remember who came out on probably multiple places, but they just said that over 60% of the utility companies across the country are planning having a major increase next year. And in California, we were really worried when we went from net metering 2 to 3. There was a big rush. It was great for sales. I got 15 self-gens, right before the end. That was great
Yeah.
in the day once. And it was phenomenal selling because we were worried that the price of the solar was going to go up because you have to include an energy bank or a battery. And, it's going to go up 15, 20, 30%. And then guess what happened right after net metering 3 went into play? The utility went up like 15%.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter, man. Like we're still saving the customer a ton of money, and the utilities are always going to continue to go up. You show me a utility company that has gone down, and I'll show you that their long run they've gone up, right? And so I'm a believer in the product, and I think everybody wins. And can I give like a core, like a mental mind frame that setters should have that will carry them a long way right now? You okay with that, Danny?
I was hoping you would.
Okay. One of the things that carries me through, and this is foundational in any sales job that you have. If you're selling dental services, if you're selling pest control, if you're selling solar, the core belief of what I have is better than what they currently have should always be deep down inside of you. Okay. When you walk up to every single door, every single phone call you make, every single time you go and talk to somebody, you have to have the belief that what you have is better than what they currently have. And when I approach every single meeting that way, every single door that way, I act differently, right? Again, that kind of idea of sell or be sold. If I'm walking up and somebody's like, "Nah, I don't need it," and you kind of believe that they need it, or you think that they won't, or they're on a discounted program, maybe you won't save them that much. Dude, if you're charging people an extra $20, $30, $40 a month, what we have with solar is better than what they currently have with the utility company. Because what we have is controlled, there's consistency, there's comfort, we're doing good for the world and environment. And I don't care if you're spending more now than what you'd be spending to the utility company. That's better than sticking with the utility company because they're always going to go up. They're going to see major increases. So having that core belief, your initial question was what carries you on into this, dude. All these houses that I see, they all still need it. And what I have is better than what they currently have if they don't have solar panels on their roof right now. I need to go talk to all of them, dude. Like if I had the cure for cancer and I was like, I don't know if I really want to go tell anybody about it. And somebody told me, a doctor was like, no, man, I don't think that's good. But I knew it was the cure for cancer. This is better than what you have right now. I'm gonna beat on that doctor's door 1,000 times. That conviction. And in my course, I talk about like one of my main goals is to have people knock on doors. And if somebody shuts the door on them early, have the confidence and the conviction to knock on the door right away, right then.
So how
conviction, dude, that you knock on the door again and they're like, here's what happens 20% of the time, 1 out of 5 times, you get people really mad. What are you doing? I just shut the and then the other 80% of the time, people are like, dude, what are you doing? I just told you no, but they're willing to listen.
Yeah.
Because I believe that what I have is better than what they currently have. Right? To my core. So that keeps me going.
So here, let's fantastic as usual. Here's what do you deal with now as you start seeing there were some bad apples in the industry that came in, left it a mess, and left. What would you do to the people that are still here, still selling solar, that are convicted of what you're doing? How do you stay the course? How do you continue to sell the right way when it seems like a lot of people are just being unethical? Because you've always done good business, okay? It's never been an angle where, oh, actually, you sell shady, gets a ton of cancels. No, it's always you've done business the right way. How do you stay that? And is that a decision? Is that your faith? What did you do to do business the right way?
Yeah, man, I want to do business. I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. I want to treat like every customer like they're my grandma. I want to try to represent Jesus when I am like at somebody's house, right?
Yeah.
At the core of it. So there's no reason to do bad business. And I'll tell you, here's a way that you can not get around, But when somebody comes at you and they're like, oh no, my cousin had a bad experience, or my friend or my neighbor or my whatever, the quick way to get around it, the practical takeaway here is to just say, oh man, I'm so sorry that happened to them. It's too bad they didn't go with me, because that
Mm,
doesn't happen with me. Right. So
yeah.
like there's bad experiences over here and there's bad experiences there. Those I'm peeling those away and saying, but if they went with me, that wouldn't have happened. It's too bad I didn't talk to them 5 years ago. It's too bad they didn't get set up by me and my
Yeah.
company, because we don't do that. And it would have been a different experience. And
It's
so
funny.
that's like a practical takeaway of how you do it. Like you're just separating yourself. It's too bad they didn't go with me. Like you're confident that what I have is better, and what I do is better than what happened over there. But so back to the initial question, you just got. I mean, you sell business the right way. You're good. There were some bad actors. Hopefully, a lot of them are gone. But I don't know. Like there's people get put in situations. Good people do bad things sometimes too, right? And or they do the wrong thing with good intentions, and it ends up turning on them a little bit. But I just would say, sell good business. Sell it like you're talking to your grandma. Sell it like it's your best friend, it's your wife, it's your kid, whatever. Take care of people. Even if I have gone upside down on a lot of deals where
Yeah.
the customer says, well, you said this and I did not say that. And I would rather just take care of them than have them think that I said something that I know I didn't. And I've said the same thing, Danny, for like 10 years. So I know the exact, I'll tell them, this is actually what I said.
Yeah.
You may have.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm the same way. I like, people would say something like, bro, that's not what I said. I'm literally a robot, like a repeating machine.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what do you do in these situations? You're in a spot and you're in the gray. If you see the gray coming, and this is what ends up happening, a lot of reps, they don't have any money. They're trying to get their first deal, and they're like, look, I'll play in the gray a little bit and then I'll be clean after. This is the sales in general. And that's why I feel a lot of times sales gets a bad reputation because of that. And so it's good to air these things out and talk about it, as how to do business the right way. When you see something like that coming, you personally said you'll lose money on the deal after the deal's closed. But in the sales process, you see that coming up. How do you handle it? And how do you not get trapped in a situation where, you're just hungry and you're just going to say anything you can to get a deal?
Yeah. Here's how it usually shows up in the deal. The customer says something. They heard you say something. They heard you say something. You're honest. You're doing the right thing. You're saying it properly, and they heard it differently, or they wanted to hear it differently, and they spit it back to you a certain way. That's where, and it's wrong, and you know that it's wrong. It's not that wrong, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's the gray moment that all of us get to choose. Do we correct them and tell them it's actually this way? Or do we just let it slide by? They'll get installed. They'll be a little mad at the end when it isn't the way that they thought, but at least it'll be in and installed, and that's better for them than not having it. There's these moral dilemmas, right? Anyway, where I've seen it is when I express a certain thing to a customer, and then they hear it a different way, and when I ask for a clarifying question, they tell it back to me a little bit off. And at that moment, you are going to win business, and the law of the harvest, or good karma, or whatever you want to say, will come back if you lose that one deal because you were honest. If a customer spits back to you something that's 95% correct, it's actually 100% not correct because it's 5% false, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if that ever happens to you, you would do yourself a service, and obviously the customer service, to say, actually, you're close. It's this and this and this. That is correct, but it does this thing. Okay. A customer may say, so what you're telling me is if I do like 100% offset, that I'll never have a bill from the utility company ever again.
Yeah.
In theory, maybe, right? You got your connection fee. But in theory, yeah, if you use the same amount of power, but there's a little gray area there. Well, I say, I can never tell you that, Mr. Customer, that you'd never have a bill. If you kept your windows and doors open and cranked the air conditioning and used more than what the panels make, then of course you're going to owe the utility company some money. Okay.
Mm.
If you don't, right. So I could just plow through that and be like, yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. And if it's written up like it is now, yes. Right. Or I could
Mm.
say, there's always a chance. There's always a chance you're going to spill into the utility. So where it happens in the process, again, like I said, is that we're doing our best and we're doing the right thing. I'm praying that we're all doing the right thing, but we're saying the right things, but a customer hears something differently. When they spit something back to you that's not correct, fix it right then and there. They'll trust you more because you didn't lie to them.
Yeah.
You get more referrals from them if it goes all the way through. And if it doesn't go through, then you can ask them still for a referral and say, I'm a really honest guy. I could have just let that go and you would have got the panel. So when you have a friend that is interested, will you please refer them to me? And then the next door you go to, within you treated them right. You're gonna get good customers. Good karma is gonna come your way. So that's what
Yeah. That's money, man. That's deep. Cause that's the thing is, it's just some of these reps that just will come in here. They're not trained. They're not experienced. They just want to be yes men. They say yes to do whatever they can to get the customer. Because when buyers hear so much yes men, that's a red flag. It's actually, I found it's better for you as a rep to tell them, no, this is actually how it is, because then it makes it seem more legit. Trust goes up.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the more complicated stuff at the end, if you correct them, they're more likely to go with it.
Yeah.
I never like hearing someone say yes, 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 just to get the deal, because I know they're not wanting to handle something and confront it just to get the deal. Right. And so that's funny that you bring that up, because that's what I found so many times as an issue with reps. Now let's get to something fun. What we talked about has killed it, but what are some fun tricks and tips that you'd have for on the doors to turn deals around? A couple one-liners out of your favorite sales techniques that you've used to basically turn deals around and turn it, for example, I knock on the door. Oh, I don't want solar. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. If you wanted it, you probably already have it, right? Yeah, you're the type of person, if you want something, you'll go out and get it, right? Awesome. We have a program for people just like you, and then I redirect. What are some things like that for you? I know you have a ton of them. What are some cool little things you throw out there when you're on the doors to turn stuff around?
I'll give you some good ones here. So on the doors and in the home, I use the fridge all the time.
Okay.
About people's fridge, because what's the main thing that people get worried about if there's a power outage?
Their food,
their fridge. So that's like the most basic thing in the house that people think about and worry about. So what I'll say is, like, listen, you don't have to do this. There has to be a certain amount of people that the utilities have to have a certain amount of people on renewable power. If you do it, it counts towards that number, but you don't have to do it. But the way I look at it is, you guys got a fridge, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want a discount to keep your fridge plugged in? Okay, cool. Then we might as well have a conversation. Why don't you go get your power bill? Okay. So I bring things back to the fridge. Like, that's like the most basic thing. You guys have a fridge. Even if you're working all day, you probably have a fridge, right? And your fridge is on when you're at work all day. Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think it'd be a good idea to get a discount to keep your fridge plugged in? So I'll bring that fridge back all the time. That's another funny. Another one, when most objections at first are really just smoke screens. Like, just about every time it's a smoke screen of some kind. And some of them you got to address, and then other ones you don't need to necessarily address, right? You can just kind of move past them. But a technique that, if you know it's a smoke screen, but they're kind of coming back to it a couple of times, is to completely pivot the conversation to something totally off, like not solar related, right? They're wearing a shirt. You see a Kansas City Chiefs thing. You hear a motorcycle go up the street. You just have a random thought, like, dude, this is completely random. Sorry, I'm a little ADD. Have you ever been to Jamaica? I've never been to Jamaica.
Okay. Not lately after the hurricanes.
Maybe I haven't. Oh, okay, dude. I just have had a bunch of people talk to me about it lately. I have no clue why people are talking about Jamaica so much, but that's cool that you've been. If I do end up going, where do you think I should go? No. Cool. Short conversation. Doesn't have to be super long, but just something that's completely redirect. Oh, sorry. And sorry for my AD moment there. What I was doing was, and I get right back to where I was at. And lots of times that smoke screen that was completely a smoke screen, they've forgotten about it. They've moved on from the idea that there was a smoke screen because they just moved on. So fridge, sometimes you gotta do that. Another one that's a really good one is when somebody gives you an objection, or if you can't get the objection out of somebody, it drives me bonkers. Somebody will say, I'm just not interested. Like, well, why not? I'm just not interested. Well, how come? I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And you can't just freaking get the reason why.
Yeah.
What I do is I'll give them an objection sometimes in order to get the true objection.
Yeah.
Okay? And I learned this kind of by trial and error. I learned this one guy's house and alarm cells. They would always tell you to like comment on how beautiful people's lawns are and stuff. And I was just like, that's hokey, man. This guy that I was at his house, he had like a $300 or $400 bill he was telling me. And he was a super nice guy. I just couldn't figure out why he wasn't interested. And I asked him 1,000 times. And then finally we were out, his front yard was immaculate. Like you could tell this dude spent a crap ton of time on his yard, and the roof on the front of the house was facing south. And I said to him, I was like, I gave him an objection. Are you worried that we need to put the panels on the south side? And you worried that it would kind of mess up the aesthetic of your house? Is that what you're concerned about? And I nailed it. And he said, yes. And I said, oh, we don't need to do that. You got plenty of space on the west and on the east. We could even spill over to the north if you needed to. He's like, really? Let me go get my bill, right? And he went and got his bill. I found out the concern, with giving them a concern, my coaching to everybody would be to try to nail the concern, try to get it.
Yeah.
Are you worried that they're going to look too cool? Are you worried that it's going to be hard to transfer when you move? Are you worried? Whatever the case may be, give them the objection that you think it is. And if it is, they're going to be like, yeah, that. And then you overcome it. If it's not that, then often what happens is they'll say, no, it's not that. And then they'll finally spell out the real objection. And I'm like, why didn't you just say so the first time I asked you, or the second or the third or the fourth?
Why the heck didn't you just tell me?
So if you can't get the objection out, give them an objection that you know how to overcome. Don't give them an objection that you don't know how to overcome, but give them an objection that you know how to overcome. And lots of times that will pull out an objection.
Yeah, money, man. Yeah, that's it, guys. Throw stuff at them. And there's some jokes that I used to do. It's like, why? Because you don't like Chinese product? Just anything like that, just to get them to laugh and open up. And just throwing it at them will really get it to open up, man. So that's part of the game. It's just getting creative, having fun. This job, starts with the conviction, starts with sticking it out, being here the long term so you can become a legendary salesman, that you can be a legendary setter, and you make a great community. Like, this is a cool community. For guys that have been around, I've grown up with Ashton. Like, we've all started from similar roots, and end up making friends. And high school ends, and then you got new peer groups. Like, I am so proud to be part of a community that only eats what they kill. What does that tell me about this group? We're hunters. Okay. The problem with today's society is when there's more eaters than they are hunters. And I was watching a show the other day, and they talked about it. The issue is back in Native American days, tribes failed when they had 7 hunters and 50 people eating. And so be proud of what we do. We're the hunters. We're the gatherers. We are what makes this world go round. Yeah. We are what puts the fuel in the American machine. We are the foundation of selling. We are literally the future of the United States. This whole country is based on what we are doing in some shape or form. So if you're watching this, take pride in it. Be prideful of it. Ashton, you have a system right now to help people increase their skill set. Like, they should totally be buying that. So that's the thing, guys, is be proud of what you do. Be a legendary setter. There's nothing wrong with setting deals. There's nothing wrong with that. There's so much honor in it. You are the fuel to the machine, because if there's more people eating than there are hunting, your tribe will go extinct. And we're seeing that more and more in today's society. So with any closing thoughts on that, Ashton, before we take a word for our sponsors?
Yeah, dude, I love that you just said that. Like I said at the start, you're like, why not stay in this forever? I don't know if you're going to be in solar forever, but to be a hunter, there's so much value. I'm in these other peer groups outside of solar just to kind of see business and see the world and economy, and there's all these different people from all these different industries, and hunters are so valued. There's lead babies, and not that one of these sponsors here helps you get leads, which is fantastic. But if you stop hunting, then you're gonna lose a really powerful skill set, because all of the companies in the whole world want hunters. So be proud to be a hunter. You can wake up in the morning, not have any money in the bank, go knock on a door, go make a phone call, go talk to somebody on the street, and make money appear out of thin air. That is a superpower, and that's what we have here.
Boom. Guys, you heard it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're listening to this and you are a hunter and you want to diversify some of your hunting, contact DealMachine. DealMachine is a way for you to virtually door knock. It is one of the top homeowner data services in the country. You pick where you want to go, you find the houses that you like, you get the data, and you start contacting them. If you haven't done this, this is a great way to start diversifying your portfolio. Good, high quality homeowner data. If you got a call center and you need a new lead source, contact DealMachine. They got a free 7-day trial. You find the areas you want, you download the data, upload it into your caller, and start dialing. I went out with this data, knocked with a real estate company about a month ago. Very interesting seeing people talk about that. And it was a really good experience. The data was on point, high quality stuff. So get with DealMachine, free data. And then on top of that is being a gatherer, you're going to expand your tribe. And getting your tribe, you need to bring in more people. You got to start finding more hunters. Because right now, people that are waiting to get fed are getting hungry and they want better opportunities. I know I'm super thankful. I know Ashton's super thankful that somebody reached out to them, reached out to us, gave us a job, and here we are 20 years later still feeding our families. So if you want to scale your team, we're going to take a quick video. Watch Volition. They're going to tell you a little bit about their service. They recruit reps for companies. If you want sales reps, reach out to Volition and help start building your downline. We're going to queue up the video. Let's go ahead, team, play that one. Sick. Great video right there. So thank you for that clip. The owners of the company was my old region at Vivint. And boom, baby. Who needs a 30-second clip when you got a clip? Video's not working, but who cares? You know. Boom, there you go. So Volition, there is my old business partner that started up a recruiting agency because he found the formula to get people in the door. So they don't go on Indeed, they use social media, they use other avenues to find applicants. You get higher quality candidates and you build your team faster. Get them in, get them selling, and get them trained. If they need to get trained, reach out to my boy Ashton. Ashton, we're gonna put a link for your training in the comments so people can get a taste of the magic you've been spewing. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going live next week. We're doing a closing training. We're gonna train you guys on how to close more deals once you guys are in the home. So Solar Pros, have an amazing week. We hope you guys got a ton of value. Ashton, where can everybody follow you at?
Go to my Instagram at Ashton Buswell, ASHTONBUSWELL, or foundationalsellingsystem.com. Those are the spots. Thanks for having me on, man. I enjoyed it. You're the man, Danny. Keep doing good for the world and the industry, dude. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Ashton, you crushed it as well. Guys, we'll see you on the doors. Until next week.